Alright, we got the extra 5 characters coming and it looks like everyone is pleased. Now before I begin, there is a YouTuber by the name of RB125 who has been making move lists for characters that are not currently in the game, and they're doing a really great job. If you want to see how someone like Wagner would play, for example, I say definitely give them a look. So to begin with, let's talk about where I was right and then where I was wrong. To begin with, I was completely correct when I said that the reveal here would be all old characters, as revealing all new characters outside of a major event would be a waste, and what do you know, I was spot on, as we got 2 characters from BlazBlue, 2 characters from Persona, and 1 from Under Night. Now in terms of who is coming specifically, it does appear that everyone, no matter who you are, is getting someone from this pack. Now I was right and I was wrong at the same time when I spoke about Persona 4 Vanilla and Ultimax. You see, a lot of people believe that Ultimax characters were a shoo-in because Teddy had the Persona 4 The Ultimate next to his name. It seems to be that a lot of people did not know that Ultimate was the name of Persona 4 Arena over in Japan. As such, this didn't mean that Ultimax characters were guaranteed. But with Adachi now in the game, we can definitely see that the logo behind him is different, which means that now we can begin speculating on Ultimax characters. Now I won't be going into that subject on this video as it's still very fresh and we just got the content we needed revealed, so that doesn't seem to be appropriate right now. Instead, I will be focusing on the characters that we got themselves and take a look at them. So first up, let's talk about Elizabeth, because as anyone who has been subscribed to me for a while knows, she's been the character I have been waiting for. Elizabeth looks just the way I imagined her to be, with a few key differences. The first being her special ability is missing. The ability, which was a passive one where she would constantly gain meter over time. Thinking about it in a big picture kind of way, I can definitely understand why this ability was removed. Because if she did have it, she would be able to spam EX moves from a distance. On top of this, given that one of her moves allows her to heal, would you really want her being able to spam that? I don't think so. The other big change that I noticed about her is that she is the only Persona character to have an awakening state now. Now, if you had not played a Persona Arena game, awakening happens when your character's health gets really low. Once this happens, your character's move change in varying ways. Well, as demonstrated in the stream, Elizabeth's moves are now active longer and do more damage. The good thing though is that, as demonstrated in the stream, is that she can heal her health back once she has entered awakening state to get her away from one-hit kill range. So that's a very good thing to see. So moving away from Elizabeth, let's talk about Hilda. Hilda, like Elizabeth, doesn't have her ability from her home game either, as her ability would have her regain meter spent on certain moves. So without it, it is kind of disappointing honestly, but that's all I've really got to say. The character does certainly look flashy though, and she definitely does look good. So let's move over to one of the characters that everyone is really hyped about now and talk about Susanoo. Susanoo does not have his seals, but it does appear that his damage is all over the place, varying from either low end to the very high end. This most likely will change in the full release of version 2.0, but that's all I've really got to say about him right now. Now let's talk about Adachi. Adachi does seem to have his Heat Riser back, which if you did not play Ultimax meant that he got 10% more damage when he had it and took 10% less damage when it was active. So if math works how I think it does, that means that if you counter hit someone with Heat Riser, you could potentially be doing 20% more damage per combo, which I kind of find problematic because with the game in the current state that it's in, we don't need another character that's capable of 1 or 2 touching his opponents. Now let's talk about Celica. Celica does appear to heal herself, so that's a thing. Nothing too outside of the box, but it was expected. And that's it for the 5 new characters. Let's talk about the previous 4 that were revealed. Yumi honestly looks like a better version of Yukiko in every sense of the word. Her movements and unique mechanics definitely do seem interesting to me. I gotta say, pairing her with Weiss may be an interesting move that I may need to try. I do like how her fans do freeze on hit. It definitely seems like she does have a lot of potential. Now let's move over to the Ruby representative. Let's talk about Neo. Looks like we're getting Hibiki's long lost sister. I mean seriously, one of her moves was taken straight from Hibiki himself. It doesn't look like Neo is going to suffer from Weiss syndrome. I mean, it does look like she's going to be coming out of the box and be good, unlike, Weiss, who was bad for about 2 to 3 patches before she became very good. Now let's talk about the meme man, Blitztank. Looking at Blitztank, all I'm going to say is that he is a meme and just move right on along, as both the Japanese and English streams both spend more time making jokes about him than actually showcasing him. So I'm going to move on and talk about Akatsuki. Akatsuki looks to be very mid-ground, being able to work around projectiles. Definitely does seem like he's going to have a good place in the metagame for sure. Another thing I want to bring up that everyone has been worried about is the intros. They are back for all the DLC characters. Hilda and Neo had one, Susanoo and Adachi had one, and of course we saw Naoto and Ragna had one in one of the intros. So art did purposely leave them out, as a few people did suspect. most likely due to this set of characters all releasing at once, so they wanted to avoid data mining and spoiling the surprise. Which I have to say is good and bad at the same time. Bad because at the time we definitely all felt ripped off, and good because it just showcases that Arc, a small company, is able to hide things better than most AAA developers, so kudos to them on that. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the character select screen. Yes, we all want it changed, but that's not what I mean. I'm referring to the guest character selection. In case you missed it, Senran, Arcana Hearts, and Akatsuki are all sharing one line. I think this means that there are not going to be large amounts of characters for these corresponding fates. Now I could certainly be wrong, but if you guys recall what I said in the last video on the subject of characters, I did mention how this is an art game featuring guest characters, so not all fates will be created equally. I'm not saying that we won't get any more, but the current writing on the wall definitely does lead one to think that. Maybe fates here will only get 1 or 2 representatives. Time will definitely tell. And that's honestly it. I am currently running a poll on my Twitter right now. If you would like me to make videos for the character interactions when the characters release, make sure you vote. The game is definitely coming into its own, so how do you guys feel about these characters? I of course am hyped to get my hands on Elizabeth, as of course the first team I'm going to be trying is Team Thanatos. I'm going to personally say if we get no trailer at the ARC Finals, it won't matter, because the ARC Finals are right before the DLC releases. So 9 characters right after the World 2 completes seems to be more than fair, especially when the next big events will be EVO Japan somewhere around January or February, which is safe to say one of the remaining fates will definitely be announced there. Sorry if the video seems like it's all over the place, but the hype is finally here, guys. Let's talk in the comments below. What team is everyone looking forward to playing when November finally gets here? I'll meet you guys all in the comments.